In the previous video, we learned about how equilibrium maximizes consumer and producer surplus. So ultimately, we figured out what is consumer surplus, what is producer surplus, right? It's the extra benefit that I gain by buying or selling a good. And again, that's maximized at the point of equilibrium. So in this short video, what we're going to do is we're going to take a look at what happens if we're not at equilibrium. So we're going to keep this one up here where we were looking at it maximizing at equilibrium. So why is it not greater at a different point, right? Like, wouldn't buyers be better off at a lower price? Well, possibly, but there's some other things taking place. So if we look at supply and demand, and we're just gonna put our point of equilibrium here just to remind ourselves that PE and QE are our equilibrium points, and we're going to shade our areas of equilibrium. So let's say that this green is the area of equilibrium of consumer and producer surplus at equilibrium. So this whole area right here. And so let's say let's look at it if we change the price. We say buyers would be better off if the price were to be, let's call that PL, price low. Okay, so let's examine this for a moment. Okay, so if we dot over and we dot down at each one of our curves, we've done this before. We've examined this before, that this is the quantity demanded, this is the quantity supplied. Right? So instead of QE exchanges taking place, there's only QS exchanges taking place because, for example, there's only 2 goods available, even though there are 10 people that want to buy. So only 2 exchanges take place, right? So it's only like this and this person that are actually selling. And they're selling to any one of all of these people that want to buy. All of those 10 people want to buy. So, those 2 goods are going to go to any one of those 10 people, but there's going to be 8 of those people that don't get anything. So where's producer or consumer surplus? Well, let's look at it like this. So let's say that this person was willing and able to spend this amount, but actually spent that amount. So that is their consumer surplus. And this person was able to able to spend this amount, right there, and actually spent this amount. And so that's their consumer surplus. And then we can look at producers, right? So willing to sell did, right? So all the way up to that number right there, whatever this number 2, those exchanges, right? So this right here, this like shaded area here is our consumer surplus, and then this down here is our producer surplus, and it stops there. You don't have consumer producer surplus when an exchange doesn't take place. So if you notice this area right here, this used to be producer and consumer surplus. Right? But those aren't taking place anymore. These are lost exchanges that are not taking place because the price is too low. Right? So we call this lost consumer surplus and producer surplus. There's an actual term that we use to describe that. It's called dead weight loss. Right? So that term is used to describe lost producer or consumer surplus. And in this example, it's lost because there are less exchanges taking place than should. This is what society actually wants. Society wants that QE point of equilibrium. They want that at PE price. But when price is down at PL, too few exchanges take place that should have been taking place. And so we lose consumer and producer surplus. Now the consumers that buy, they benefit a lot. And the sellers that sell, they benefit a little, but a lot fewer exchanges are taking place than otherwise would have.